Hello, everyone. I did my presentation on Xenobots, and this is a type of a biobot that is made from uh, engineered uh, bits of somatic tissue from a embryo of a frog, and also it's programmed with data from a computer, from computer algorithms to control the shape in which they are built, and the shape in which they're built controls their function in turn. Um, this is an interesting new avenue that biologists have taken in bioengineering, and it has the potential to lead to more scientific discoveries on how cells react and how um, basic concepts are foreseen, and basically how they're trying to use this in a way that could help in regenerative capabilities, um, and even in cognitive pursuits in helping people with diseases like dementia, Alzheimer's, things like that. So questions posed would be, what is the definition of self, death, life, organism, and cognition? And are they complete as of now, or even adequate categories? So basically, in the article I read, the author Michael Levin was suggesting that these terms of self, death, life, organism, and cognition are all kind of old ways of viewing things based upon the research that he has been doing. And as you can see, things can go from um, different levels of classification. They can go from a unicellular organism to a multicellular aggregate, um, to a tissue, to a organism, and then back through the cycle. So if and he will show you this in the article, and if you watch the videos on it, he will show you the how the theory works. Basically, it's the opposite. When the organism dies, unicellular the unicellular part of the organism, they go on to live inside of a niche like a pond or something that is good for a unicellular organism, and then they eventually group back together and it starts over again. um, so it's almost like an immortal creature, so that's why he's saying that death is uh, on what level is death on an organism like that. The bigger creature dies, but the smaller pieces live on. So it kind of gives a new meaning to that, and so does self, because not always does uh, the pieces from the same animal come together. It could be another animal with different DNA, and that would be called a chimera. So there could be several different factors in play there. And cognition. This was hit on in an article. Cognition, uh, you know, basic cells, like single cells, can have cognitive capabilities in learning to adapt, communication, just uh, body storing like information, like anatomical structure, things like that, um, and tropisms, like being attracted to a certain thing. So they can store all these things because it's not just in the DNA. This is what this is kind of disproving. It's been long known or supposed that DNA was what houses all these things, but no, other things can house it too. Because when that's out of the picture, it's still things are still remembered, and also even when neurons are out of the picture for communication, things can be communicated through other channels, through bioelectricity, things like that. How can one dissociate some organisms from the environment? So that goes back to the example I just said. are memories and notions of self fluid. So, like I said, when that other organism combined with the cells of the other organism in the example, and they come together, do the memories of the other organism, um, do those memories that enter the other organism, are those fake memories because they didn't actually experience that, or are they just perceived to be just memories because uh, they don't have to live that, they could live vicariously through the other organism's memories. um, is DNA the X factor? No, it's not. That's what I was trying to say a second ago. It's not all about the DNA. What ethical concerns may come about with modified organisms and potential human applications? So this could be used in medicine to break up, if you put Xenobots in someone's bloodstream to break up plaque. It could be used to identify bacteria or viruses and attack those. It can also be used in the environment to eat, if there's an oil spill, just like the microbes do. Can cells at the most basic level store information? I've already went over that one too. And here's the hypothetical amphibious creature that he had in the article that goes through all the cycles and or through the life cycle and goes through all the levels of organization. And I'll let you briefly look at that. And basically, we're starting at A, ending at D, really, or F. Excuse me, ending at F. And this is cognition and body plasticity concepts. So basically the ability of the body and the mind to adapt. Single cells have been shown to have cognitive capacities and can retain information. This makes sense if you believe the regards of the evolutionary track that we've been on. If you think the single-celled amoeba all the way up to the human, it makes sense because even the most basic unicellular organism had some of these abilities. Aneural organisms exhibit proto-cognitive functions such as memory, integrated decision-making, prediction, and ability to learn general rules from instances. So even without neurons, I touched on that earlier too, we're seeing cells that they have the same capabilities as if they were able to communicate with neurons. Somatic cells have shown the ability to interact via biochemical channels and adapt when resembled in various configurations. Sorry if you can't see that. Hold up. In the lab. Okay. I'll have to move that around. All right. Let's see. Next slide. Okay. So this is a picture of Xenobots over here. So basically, they're computer algorithms that make their shape, and based on their shape, they have certain functions that they carry out. And this is just something that they figured out in the lab at Tufts University, and I think there's another university where Michael Levin works, that is doing this research. Let's see, and there's a video link that I have, short video that'll just show you a Xenobot in action and them actually moving around and performing tasks that they're programmed to do, and the basic forming of them. Okay, now the potential impact on society. I could see there was definitely some ethical questions raised by this. Um, if this is applied to humans, is this messing with what we're typically able to do? Is it going to help us in advantageous ways in cognition, in limb regeneration, brain tissue regeneration? Uh, is it going to be able to help out in the instance of strokes or embolisms, clots? So the creation of novel organisms in the lab through manipulation of somatic tissue and translation of information via internal and external inputs can assist in the discovery of how basic processes work in humans as well as existing animals. Novel organisms can also be a great useful tool in the treatment of medical conditions and environmental conservation. We've been over that. And these organisms can further the ability of AI. We haven't been over this one. Combining the adaptability of a biological agent with the controlled input and precision of a computer. So instead of having a hard hardware, you're going to have basically the substrate would be the biological agent, or the biological part, which is the embryo of the frog, the somatic tissue, and then the algorithms that are used from the computer are the software part that really would go in and kind of control it, and it just gives you the control to manipulate what the function of the organism is going to be. So I mean, this has great potential for looking into how humans can benefit from this, and how we operate and how we view all these terms. And really, it could cause a breakthrough in biology by studying these new life forms that scientists are creating. So this is very interesting stuff. It sounds very science fictiony, but at the same time, it sounds scary, but at the same time, it sounds pretty promising too.